Step right up and join the most vibrant circus community in the world, circustalk.com. This is In Center Ring. I'm your host, Jonathan Lee Iverson. Kiarnna Weber, the reality show sensation and seventh-generation circus star of New Zealand's most famous big top, the Weber Brothers Circus. They are now broadening the depth and scope of the circus as we know it on their massively successful television series, The Circus, on Bravo TV New Zealand. All right, here we are with one of the major stars of a huge hits show down under, actually. Yes, in New Zealand. She's the star of The Circus on Bravo New Zealand. I'm so happy to welcome her, and I'm just, the more and more I read about you and your family, I just scratch my head and I'm like, I need to go to New Zealand. We're talking about the wonderful Kiarnna Weber. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
I'm just so happy that you took the time. You all are really, your lives have accelerated ever since you got the reality show with Bravo TV, correct?
Yeah, like it's crazy. We had a YouTube channel, and we would always video and post on our YouTube channel because we thought that there's like something missing that people don't see from behind the scenes of the circus, which is like backstage, what happens after the show finishes, like especially on a traveling circus where we stay in caravans and all stuff like that, we have barbecues after the show, we go out and do things together. So I think that was something that we thought that, like, from our point of view, that people would want to see on our social media. So we started doing that, and from there someone came and done like a trucking show. They wanted to film all our trucks, and actually it's crazy, it's so crazy. So we've done the trucking show, and we said, oh, you should watch our YouTube channel because like there's some good content on there. And they were like, okay. So they watched it. They said none of the interns and everything like that could take their eyes. They watched every single episode of our YouTube channel, and they loved it so much that they literally 2 weeks later they already had something to give to the networks. And then literally 2 weeks after that, Bravo picked it up, which is so crazy. It happens so fast. And then like literally before season 1 even aired, we already got greenlit for season 2, which was amazing.
Wow. This is amazing. So your season 2 was greenlit before even season 1 premiered, due to the fact that you just had so much content already.
Yeah, the TV producers, they were like, it never happens that we get a season out so quick. They said there's just so much content that we can just keep spewing 3-4 seasons out every year. They said that it's crazy how fast we can get a season out. Like, we started filming season 3 in December, and they said that it's literally been 1 year, and we've filmed 2 seasons and the start of season 3, which is crazy. That, and I don't know much about the film industry, but they said that it never ever happens like that.
But that's circus. I mean, that, like, because circus is like a content machine, I mean, it like really the life. Is. Yeah. And
we never notice it because we're always, we're in the content. We're always doing this, doing that, getting the people going when the lights go out. But these people, they just follow us around, so they can get all that content, all that good content for the TV show, which I think is awesome as well.
And so there are talks now about you all venturing to the United States.
Yeah, so we are in talks at the moment. We're hoping, we've already got plans to go there. We're just waiting for the borders to open, really. So we won't bring the whole circus. It'll be kind of like a family vacation. So I think that's going to be exciting too.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
My goodness. Wow. Well, I'll definitely be there some way, somehow.
Yes.
It's fascinating. I was reading somewhere where, like, your mother was kind of on top of that, where Marie the wonderful Marie,
Yeah.
Supermama Marie. We're going to have to talk about her soon, but where she would actually, you all would talk about the possibility of a reality show for quite some time.
Yeah, well, I think, we've been doing Circus for, my family is seventh generation circus performers and stuff like that. So we've been doing Circus. Well, I've been doing Circus my whole life. And I think my whole life, just so many crazy things happen in the circus. I think anyone that's been in the circus knows that just so many crazy things happen. And we always say, like, this should be a reality show. Like, this is a reality show I would watch. So, which then it happened, and I think we were in such shock because we always spoke about it, but we didn't think it would happen. And like now we're the number 2 TV show in New Zealand on Bravo's channel, which I think is so awesome as well, that people actually want to watch it.
That is huge. And I just think it's so, over here in the States, we've always had people talking about that in various shows. Of course, I think we have this interesting fraternity, of course, right? Because everyone who's in the circus industry knows that no day is ever the same. You can have all the plans you want. Chaos is literally our normal. We just know how to thrive. Yes. We know how to, we're very pliable. And it's a lifestyle conducive to a reality show. It's real reality TV. And I think what's great about it is it's not salacious nonsense. Like, you actually have real extraordinary talents, and you're actually a real big family, and it's a big family that comes with all the stuff. You're going to have some drama. You're going to have loving and kissing. You're going to play hard. You're going to work hard. You're going to have all those things. And I just think essentially, I think it's wholesome television. I think it's wholesome content with a splash of drama and some sass, maybe, but it's incredible.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I've done like a few interviews, and people are like we know that reality TV isn't like real. Like, we know most of it isn't probably real, but like, what's the best thing that happens? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's real. Like, I'm like, no, it's like, it's real. It's real stuff. Like, I think, sometimes they over exaggerate the long pauses and stuff like that, but all of it is real. So I think that's what I like most about it, is that, that you get to see the real thing.
I love it. Now take us through, the history of your family. Now you say you're about 7 generations of circus.
Yeah, I think around that.
Okay. And so is it true you all, the Weber brothers, did it begin in Germany?
So my dad's family actually moved to Australia when he was 8 years old, and they have been living there ever since. And I was born in Australia. My mum is from New Zealand. Okay. So her parents, her dad's from New Zealand and her mum's from Tonga. So it's like a nice mesh of culture and all that stuff. So it's really fun.
Which is evident in your, in your visage. You look like the embodiment of that part of the world. And so is your whole family, and your beautiful family, of course. And I guess you have to be entertainers, I guess, right? But listen, I think it's just one of these incredible stories where you're this family that your entire life really revolves around each other. There's no escape. It's like everybody's hands on deck, even probably the smallest person in the family. Everybody. What is that experience like? For the uninitiated, I have a good indication of it, but for the uninitiated, I think there's something, of course, enchanting about it. But you tell me, what would that be? What is that like?
My mum and dad have 8 children together, and it's like, seriously, we always make sure we're over at my mum and dad's house every night, like in their caravan. We're there every night. We always make sure after the show, we'll be straight over at mum and dad's, and we'll be talking about different things. So we do the show And when we're doing the show, I get to work with my brothers and sisters, which I think is the most amazing thing and the worst thing at the same time. Because we know each other better than anyone else. So
right.
I'll be doing something, and then one of my brothers and sisters will be like, that's wrong. And then we'll get into a glue. But we're still gonna, like, my brother rides around me in the globe of death. So like,
Right.
I gotta make sure I've made good with him until that gets up to that part of the show. So I think it's like any family dynamic. You have
Yes.
your bad days, you have your good days, but at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we work together. And we really do. We do double trips together. My brothers help my dad build things, because my dad builds all our caravans that we live in.
Wow.
And he builds the stage that we have, the seating. He builds literally everything. So he built our side poles. We actually just put up a new big top. So he built the side poles for that. And I think that just the family part of it is why we love it so much, because at the end of the day, we all go to my mum and dad's place and we just have a good chat, and then we all go home. But I think especially my fiance, he's an only child. So
not anymore.
From his he said from his perspective, for the first, like, I think it was like 2 years, he said it was a real adjustment, because like you would drop everything for your family. And I said, yeah, of course. And he'd be like, like, I've never had brothers and sisters to drop everything for. And I'm like, yeah, well, you just don't realize it, because you're in that 24/7.
It's so beautiful. I mean, because this is, I think in many respects, you the Weber brothers circus, your family is really the epitome of the classic circus family. You have this family, everybody has their peculiar skill or skills. And of course, nobody just does one thing.
No.
And all hands are on deck. Everybody has something to do with this family business. That's the charm of it. You get to create this family business. You get to invest in it, build it, pass it on to next generations. And so everybody's heartstrings are attached. I mean, yeah. I just think it is, again, it's perfect for media. I mean, this is something right out of a novel, and we don't hear much of that anymore, but this was common in the golden age of the circus, for families to be this tight, to be this hardworking, where they would have all of these different moving parts. So I know with you, you're an aerialist, among other things, but I was looking at your content, and again, you please go to their YouTube page. And I tell you, it's riveting. It's like you can't turn away. And of course, I noticed you weren't just doing your act or acts. You were also, you were dealing with lights and sound and dealing with concessions. Your mother's basically the ringmaster there, like wrangling everybody, all of the logistics there. I didn't see your dad because he's probably somewhere just building something, but everybody was somewhere doing something.
And do you know what? I think that's the most amazing thing about the circus is, people that don't come from long lines of circus generations and all that stuff, that haven't grown up in the circus, and they come into the circus and they just have their one act, which of course, would be amazing. But then they come in and they learn all these other things, which I think is the best thing about the circus. Like, you don't just learn your act, you learn, for me especially, I learned the silks, and then I learned the Russian swing, and then I learned this, and then I learned that. I couldn't even imagine 4 years ago knowing how to get up onto the sound and lighting desk and know everything about it, because over the last 2 years, I've learned every single thing you can about the lighting desk and how to design lights, because my passion really is to design the show at the moment. That's my favorite thing to do. I still love being on stage. I still think that being on stage is the best feeling, but I also like, the intricates behind all that you see on stage. So I think that's so awesome too, that you get to learn all these different things along the way.
Do you see yourself transitioning into a producer eventually, not just of circus, but maybe of other genres of entertainment?
Yeah, definitely. I still, I still love being on stage. I still love doing aerial and doing all these other things, which I think I still have a good few years of me left. As you know, circus performers get banged and bruised all the time. I have a bad back already. So,
Right.
Yeah, I think that definitely producing will be one thing that I definitely will move into in the next couple of years, because I just really love that. I think that producing something that you see on stage is just so amazing. And sometimes when you're on stage, you don't get to see the little things that you want to change. So after the show, I'm sitting on the computer watching the whole show again. But yeah, I love that. I love that about the circus.
That's wonderful. Now, with regards to your casting choices, when you build a new theme, obviously, look, your family's big enough, of course, to fill a lot of spots. But of course, you all are bringing in talent from around the globe. How do you all actually determine these casting choices when it comes time to build a new show?
So we are actually just in the middle of trying to build a new show at the moment. So what we do is we post out, well, I think it's changed over the years. Like you used to go to an agent and then they would give you like the certain amount of acts that they have. Now we posted a few ads on Facebook and we got like 3,000 messages from circus artists. So like
they saw the reality show.
Yeah, I don't know, but like getting through them, that was so much work. So then from there we find the acts that we think would fit best with the production that we are going to do, and then just see if they're available for the season, or if not, then we'll put in another act that we think will fit into it, and just go from there.
Okay. Now we always obviously we've been down the road of the glamorous and the joys of what you do. But, there's also that other side. It's a lot of work. And some days are obviously better than others. What have been like, let's say, the more treacherous times, the times where you've had your most concern, for the survival of the show, or even, the relationships within it?
I think it's happened many times in the circus where there's just a toxic work environment. And, we try our best to make sure there's like a good environment for everyone to work in. So I think then it's kind of hard to work in when, everyone's not in it with their heart type thing. But, you work through those things and you try and put the best thing out that you can see on stage. I think another big thing that's hard is also like just, especially during the pandemic, we haven't been able to get new performers in to New Zealand. So that's been a real challenge, trying to source performers to get in, because you cannot enter New Zealand unless you're a New Zealand citizen. And then even if you're a citizen, you have to go on to a lottery, which is like a MIQ thing. And you have to try and get in like that. And that's so hard as well, to try and do that. So to be honest, trying to find new performers has been a real hard thing during the pandemic.
Now, do you think you all have somewhat of an advantage, whereas your family is just bursting full of talent? So, I mean, and would you mind giving me the age range of each child? So there are 8 total. And so yes. I read somewhere it's like from 1 to 21-year-old or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my little brother, he's 2. And then my next brother is 4. And then I have a little sister and she's 6. And then I have another brother that's 7. So they're the 4 younger ones.
Right.
And then we have the 4 older ones, which we call ourselves the original 4, because which is so silly, because it was that my mum and dad had an 11-year gap. So then it goes, my sister, she is 18. my next brother is 20, and then my next brother's 21, and I'm 22. So
wow,
yeah,
man, your parents weren't playing. That's amazing.
No,
That is
yeah,
so. Obviously, the
crazy.
original four, you all are in the show, and of course, you all have
Yes.
multiple. And I mean, it's common that you would actually have multiple skills that you display. Have you been in situations where, let's say, it's difficult to get, as it is now, to get outside entities, or, let's say you do get the outside entities, but they're acting up, but you got to get rid of them or whatever. And as a family, you just have to pull from your own particular talent pool and just put something together. Have you been in those types of situations?
Yeah, we have, which I think is our most valuable thing during the pandemic, has been that we have such an range of acts. So my brothers are both globe riders. So we haven't had to get a new globe rider in yet. My second brother actually moved to Australia last year because he doesn't want to do circus anymore, which is fair enough. He wants to be a professional motocross rider. So like he's doing that at the moment, which I think is so cool. And, we support him in that. So at the moment, my boyfriend and my brother are in the globe. They also both jump off the Russian swing and push it. So we have a full Russian swing act just between my family that we've put together along the way. Me and my sister both are on the Russian swing as well. Then my boyfriend is also a clown. So that's been really handy as well. I do the silks. I also do a strap act, but we've had to take that out because the guy that I was doing it with left, so which is fine. So I do the silks, and I also stand in the middle of the globe of death. And my sister, she does hula hoops and a solo trapeze act, which is like good because there's like two acts. So it's been really good to have that because we can just throw in another act if we need it. So my sister actually hasn't done her trapeze act in ages, and someone's out of the show, and we just go, okay, we're just going to throw your trapeze act in today. I'm really sorry about that.
Now, did I read somewhere that your sister was also attempting the globe?
No. Okay. So that's one of our girls here that does she has a whip cracking act with her family.
Okay.
She actually started learning the globe while she was here, and she's actually been in the globe of death now. So, which I think is so cool which gives another thing that I was saying before, that like people learn new things as they're in the circus.
You're doing all these wonderful things where you don't just have this brilliant live show. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the largest circus in New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, currently we're the only circus in New Zealand. There was another one, but they closed down due to the pandemic. So we are the biggest circus in New Zealand.
There you go.
Yeah.
You took them out. And so not only do you have this dynamic live entity going, right, but you also have your life online and in broadcast with the reality show, with the online content. What has the reaction been from the public due to your online content, due to the reality show? How has that affected your business?
So we started, the reality show aired, I think it was June last year it aired. And as it was airing, we were doing amazing business. I don't think that was due to the reality show because I don't think it was like that up there yet. But also because we were doing such good business, we showed the ads for the TV show while everyone's walking in and getting seated. So that's brought the people that watch our show to the TV, which I think is really cool as well. And then also, now I notice, especially like while me and Kalia are working, we'll be walking around and people will just go, oh, can we just take a photo, So like that's another aspect that's they'll just stop me and Kalia from like, which is fine, and I like it, so I don't mind if they stop me. But yeah, they just stop us and they're like, sorry, I know you're working, but can we take a photo? So I think that's like one thing that has changed. Definitely this last lockdown has like put a hold on our business. But yeah, I think that it's definitely helped it.
So with the lockdown, obviously it's affected your live show. But your fortune is you have all of this content that's already out there, and season 2 is starting. If it hasn't debuted already, does that give you a kind of sense of security being in this place where, unfortunately we're in the middle of a pandemic, so the live show can be hit or miss, depending on what the ordinances are and what's going on with COVID cases? Do you feel that you have this kind of security having done the work in building your online content, building your personalities in the press, in the media, on television? Do you feel a little more secure than you would have normally felt if you all were just a live show?
I think because of the TV show, people know what they're coming to see. People know that it's quality live entertainment that they're coming to see. So I think in that respect that it definitely is like that people know what they're coming to see and they know that it's going to be a good show. So they're okay with spending the money in this time. But, people that haven't seen it, they see the circus, some people still have a notion about the circus. So, sometimes they won't, come and see it, which I think gives like a little bit of not so much security. And you're just like, I think you're still on edge about it. But I definitely think that people have seen the TV show and they're like, yes, we know that this is the Weber family. They're going to give us good entertainment. So I think in that respect, yeah, definitely.
And in light of that, I think it's safe to say the Weber family has become, ambassadors for this genre. You have this incredible platform that's obviously doing well. You're the second highest rated show on Bravo TV New Zealand. That's an amazing feat. And I think personally, us being in this industry, I think that's sort of a clarion call for the rest of us in this industry to really, really start buckling down and paying attention to the advantages of content, having content out there, because you all sort of drew them to you, having the YouTube channel. I definitely think that circuses in general, and now I see it a lot with TikTok and stuff like that, people are posting more content about the circus and educating people that the circus is not something, because I think some movies and stuff like that don't depict it very well and different things like that. But I think that, now people are saying like, wow, the circus is actually not changed so much, because I think circus has been pretty, the same all the time, but that people are getting a different perspective on the circus, that people also see different things and they're like, wow, like we should go see the show. Like, because I see things on TikTok about the circus and I'm like, about different circuses around the world. And I'm like, wow, this is like amazing content. Like I would go see this show. So I think that that's something that people are starting to realize, that to have a circus, advertising online and doing online content is a big advantage to show people what you're going to give them when they come and see your show. And you said something earlier that I think is so very important, which was the motivation behind your family really investing in the content. And really, I want listeners to understand this content is really great quality content. It's not like you're just running around with your iPhones or your, whatever, and taping a bunch of things like I would, but like you actually invested in putting something together to give the public to see, not necessarily the actual show itself, but the life of the circus artist, the circus family.
Yeah.
And it's very intriguing.
Yeah, so we actually hired a person to do this specific job. So we hired her name's Brooke. She's actually on the TV show. You'll see her on the TV show. We hired her specifically to do our media content, and her job was literally to just follow us all around with a camera and try and get content. Because my mum came up with this idea. She goes, I really want to do the reality TV show, but like we should do YouTube because, I think that's a good way to start. And so we were like, yeah, well, let's post YouTube videos because I think that's such a good platform to do it on. And so my mum had this idea. We hired someone. We bought the computer. We bought a proper camera. We bought millions and millions of hard drives because to get that type of content, you need so many hard drives. And there's so much content that we actually didn't even post, So I think that's like, we did put the time and the money into hiring a person to make sure that we got that content so that everyone can see that behind the scenes, the circus is, just as fun as you see it on stage.
I just really have to say again, and I think I told you before we got on, but of course, obviously, I'm a big groupie of your mom. I think your mom is just amazing. And, obviously, she's like this amazing matriarch who's forward thinking. And I just have to commend her for that. I mean, obviously, she's business savvy. She's running her family. She's keeping things in order. And she's also thinking of the future. How important is it to have someone within your team? And maybe I'm getting you to campaign a little bit, but maybe it's important for us to hear this as a circus community, the importance of having a team that is forward thinking. We have moved into sort of a new kind of another evolution, if you will, as far as live entertainment is concerned, not just circus, but everyone. We're going to have to figure out how we get the thing we love out there to the masses. And how do we draw them in, and how do we, I guess, humanize our story? And I think what you all have done, which is why I told you I was so proud. I'm so proud of your family for making this leap, because you're getting to tell the story of the circus from your perspective. It's not some Hollywood producer, mangling it. It's not somebody, who, using their own one little trauma at the show and then mangle it. But these are the real people. They live it, they breathe it, they're born into it, several generations, and they get to tell their story. To have that kind of opportunity it's really something to envy, I think.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I definitely think that, like you said, the circus is always evolving. We're always getting new and exciting things to get people motivated to come to the show. Like years and years ago, it was elephants, like come see the elephants. And because different things have made that not possible, I think then you went to the motorbikes, like come see the motorbikes, which is a big draw card for us, especially. And then, you always got to listen. And my dad always says this. He says, you always got to listen to the younger generation because they are like living in this century where everyone wants to do, social media and stuff like that. And so I think we are real big on social media at the moment because that's a real big thing for people at the moment. Like everyone's on social media and all that stuff. So we really want to just kind of keep up with the times and, make sure that all our content is, portraying that.
Again, it just gives you that opportunity to tell your story as it is,
Yeah.
I mean, and as it really is, and it's not filtered through some outside entity assuming what circus people are like. But again, you're a real family, a close family. You play, work, travel together. For some people, that might drive them crazy. But clearly, you all are still getting along. I mean, look, you all are glamorous, you're dynamic, you're talented. I mean, and obviously, it's very real. I'm sure you have those times where you kind of get sick of each other. But This is a charming, I just think you have such a charming existence. And how much longer do you foresee yourself performing and then maybe transitioning into maybe being a content creator yourself, producer? Do you see yourself doing that as the years go?
I like to think realistically because I know other people work much longer. I think realistically, I'd have at least like 6 to 8 years left of performing, like doing aerial and stuff like that. I think any more than that, I would be I would be far too broken. I already have like so many, like I get up in the morning and I'm like cracking here, cracking there, you know. I think realistically, I would say 6 to 8 years, I would want to keep performing. My sister and I are actually training to do flying trapeze at the moment. So I'd really like to see that through. I'd really love to have that in the show, which we're working on for our next show. So I'd really love to do that and get a few good years out of that. But, you know, I think that I have to think realistically as well. And what do I want to do after I can no longer get the motivation to, you know, do all the big stuff on stage.
Now, your family's been called the Kiwi Kardashians. And I know your mother's not a fan of that. And I wouldn't be either. But speaking of the Kardashians, right? Do you foresee your family probably parlaying the reality show and, you know, your presence in the content space into endorsement deals, products? Have you been approached by major brands to partner with them?
So we have been approached by a few brands to partner with them. But I don't think that we would want to like do something that would, you know, not really sit with what we're putting out. So nothing's really fit at the moment. But definitely if like brands approached us and stuff like that, and we thought that definitely that is like what we want to show to people and we think that it's like a good product or whatever like that, then definitely we would. Yeah, so I think that definitely it's a possibility, but yeah, just something that we want to endorse.
Now, you just hit on something that I think is really crucial, where, you know, someone in your position, someone in your, you know, family in your position now, which is a wonderful, delicious position to be in, where you do have opportunities, I'm sure, that are constantly coming your way. How do you have it within yourself to really discern what's best as a family, as a brand? Because not everybody has that, you know. I mean, people will get tempted by, you know, the money or the opportunity or what have you. And, you know, even if it may be a good opportunity on the outside, it may not necessarily be conducive to your brand. When you all make these decisions, I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that you all are really making them in regards to your family and your brand status.
Yeah, definitely. So we've been approached by one of our more recent ones that we've been approached by. You know, we thought that it would be good for our brand, and we sat down as a family and we spoke about it. And we were like, yeah, we think this is going to be really good. But, you know, then we don't also want to sell ourselves out for more than we think that we're worth as well. So like, then we're like, no, then we shouldn't do something if we're not going to be, you know, in it 100%. So we sit down as a family and we talk about it before we do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I like that. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay. Well, now you're engaged. Congratulations to you. And, you know, maybe you'll have 8 kids of your own too.
Oh my gosh. I don't think I could do that. I don't know how she does it. My mom does it. So like, I don't think I could do it. I'm
telling you, your mother, Marie, is a miracle. I'm just going to call her Miracle Marie because she's something else. I'm going to have to tune back in. We're going to have a whole segment with her because she is really a fascinating human being. What is her like her, I guess, her official title?
So tour manager. So she gets all our grounds, she does all the pays, she does like all the real hard stuff. That's what she does. So yeah, that's her official title.
So she's a mother.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Dad,
Yeah.
your father, what does he, Harry, what does he do?
He is, so he will say to my mum, like, you know, we all make our decisions together, even with the business. Like my mum and my dad never say, you know, they never say to us, it's our business, not yours. You know, they say it's our family business and we have to make the decisions together. So my dad always says, oh, guys, you know, because he's been doing this for ages. His family came to New Zealand and done the Weber Brothers tour many, many years ago. And he goes, I think this town would be best for us to go to next, then this town, then this town. And then my mum will, you know, go on to those towns and be like, can we go here? Can we come to your town? And then if we can't, then, you know, we'll work together to see what to do next. And yeah, it's just one big family operation.
Right. So those decisions are just made corporately.
Yeah. You know, my dad does make the big decisions in that regard, but, you know, they always come to us and they say, you know, this is like a family thing. So, you know, they make the big decisions together and then they come to us. I think that's what's so amazing is that they actually really ask us for our opinions, and they will never not ask us. And even with the show, like my dad just said, Kiarnna, you know, I think you would be really good at this job to put the show together and this and this and this. And so he lets me do all that stuff. And then I come to him and he always goes, I think that's good, but I think, you know, we could do it better in this respect and all this different stuff. So they really encourage us to do new and exciting things. And even when we were growing up in the circus, they never said, oh, you have to learn to act. They waited for us to come to them and be like, you know, I really want to do this. So
everybody really just kind of fell into it. So this wasn't forced on you.
No, not at all. Not at all. They were always like, you know, we have this amazing performer in. She is willing to practice with you. Do you want to practice with her? It's up to you. And I would always be like, yes, please. So they would always ask us. They wouldn't say, no, you have to go to practice right now. They would always leave it up to us to make those decisions for ourselves.
Where do you see yourselves going maybe 5 years from now?
You know, I think COVID has really halted our plans because we never expected, even though we love it so much, we never expected to be in New Zealand this long. Before we came to New Zealand, we were in South Korea, and then we were also in South Africa. We were also in Australia before that. So we really love touring the world. And I thank my parents so much for that, because we have we spent 10 months in South Africa. I swear it's one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. I'd done it when I was 16, which I think 16-year-olds just don't get to go and live in South Africa for 10 months. And I think it's one of the most beautiful countries. And I recommend to anyone that wants to go there for a holiday, do. You know, you have to be very careful, but it's one of the most beautiful countries. We spent 10 months there, and, you know, I think those opportunities too were so good. But definitely our 5-year plan would probably be to travel outside of New Zealand and just keep growing. You know, I think, you know, you start from one place and you want to always get up to another place. Right now, at the end of February, the circus will be showing in Australia, Poland, the UK, and there's one other country. I can't remember the other country. One more country it's showing in. So I think that even is expanding what we had thought in the first place. So that's another thing that's really going to escalate our 5-year plan.
Is it easier to get dates now than it was before? I mean, is it easier? You know, we found a lot of trouble when we first came back to New Zealand, just other circuses like restricting you and saying to the council, like, they're only coming in here for a couple of weeks and they're going to be leaving the country type thing. But I think, you know, New Zealand has been so welcoming to us. So we've never had trouble trying to find dates.
But I think definitely people start to watch and they are like, yes, of course, da 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 da. So I think that, yeah, that's something that's, yeah, definitely affected it.
Now, I mean, our time zones, again, I thank you for taking the time. This is so amazing. I'm speaking to you. You're all the way in New Zealand. I'm here in the United States by way of Florida. And it's evening where I'm at, and it's in the afternoon where you're at. And this is just incredible.
Yes.
You're in a whole different day.
Yes.
Like it's Wednesday where you're at, it's Tuesday where I'm at. And I think this is just so wonderful. It's like how we can have this kind of a communication and really.
Yeah, I love that technology's evolved like this, especially because with the pandemic that you get to FaceTime your family, which I love. I love FaceTiming my family in Australia. So I think that that's like one of the most amazing things. We're actually in summer now, and it doesn't get dark here till like 10 o'clock.
That is amazing. That is amazing.
Crazy.
See, you're making me jealous again, because I mean, I would love that. That is so awesome.
It's not that jealous because it's like so cold here at the moment. We're down in Dunedin, which is towards the bottom of the South Island. So we haven't really had summer, which I think is like it's kind of bad because we've had no summer at all.
Wow. This has been really an absolute pleasure. I can imagine I'm going to have to speak to more members of your family, preferably the mighty matriarch herself, Marie, because I just think you are awesome. And I
thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I think what you're doing is really going to be a game changer for the genre itself. And, speaking of which, because, we can be funny as a community. Have you had to deal with the haters?
I think the circus industry sometimes can be really toxic, and no, I haven't had any encounters yet, but also, I think that, something good for the circus industry, no one should have to complain about, what I'm saying? I think that it's beneficial for everyone to show everyone that circus is more than what you see on stage. So yeah. Not yet. I haven't had to deal with the haters yet.
Well, I'm gonna dare you to throw on your content creator producer's hat. And so if I came to you, I'm going, listen, I have my show out here in Florida or whatever, and I want to grow it or what have you. I have a tent show. It's a one ring. We've got some great acts, and it's lovely locally. What would Kiarnna say to me as far as growing that? What would be your primary advice?
I would say, even start with your iPhone and just film behind the scenes, because I think that's what people want to see. People want to see real people doing real things. And, we are, of course, we are real people doing real things, but be yourself, don't try and put on more of an act than what you see on stage. You be yourself, do what you love, and just film it and just have fun with that and just show everyone, because people love to watch circus performers do practicing and all these different things. So I think that's such an advantage for us, because people love seeing people do amazing things. And, I think that's what we do,
It's a given with our field. I mean, you hit on it earlier about, these TikTok influencers. I think I was reading this wonderful article where they said the hashtag for circus is 4.6 billion. I mean,
it's crazy.
4.6 billion views. So clearly we still have this magic that people want to share in.
And even I've had so many little girls come up to me since the TV show has aired, and they will come up to me and they'll go, Kiarnna, can you watch me do a bridge? Can you watch me do splits? And they go, and then their mums go up to me and they go, after watching you and your sister on the circus, this is all they want to do. They just want to, so I think it exposes the younger generation as well to, go out and do something different. Don't just sit on your phone all day, and go out and, do do something, out in your backyard. You don't have to have a professional gym. There's so many videos online that you can learn from. So I think that's cool as well. You can always start somewhere.
And are you seeing more of that? Like, I mean, your show definitely bodes well for women in the circus. I think you all are really phenomenal ambassadors for that. I mean, that's always been circus culture, seeing women out front. I mean, that's one of the things I think is a major highlight in your show. We're seeing women actually run this show and star in the show in conjunction with the men. But when we talk about all of the challenges that go on in regular society, to see in the circus, like women who are out here, not just being glamorous and dynamic and super athletes and artists, but also knowing the technical aspects of their show, knowing how to build it, sell it, the whole bit. I'm guessing that's also having some kind of interesting effect on a lot of young ladies who may be watching the show, and little girls who might be watching the show, to think differently and broader.
Definitely. I think, just by seeing how many little girls come up to me during the show and just want to show me their tricks, and their parents send me videos on Instagram and all that, and they just want to they want to experience what we're experiencing. And I think that's so cool for the circus industry, especially that people want to do what we're doing. So I think that's really cool.
I love it. Well, Kiarnna Weber, superstar, budding superstar. Budding big-time TV star. I really appreciate you stopping by here in Center Ring. It has been a pleasure to feature you, and we look forward to having more conversations. Oh, absolutely. We have to have more conversations because your family is really amazing. Please give Marie my best, of course, your whole family, but let Marie know she has a big fan here in the States.
I would tell her. She will definitely come on. You just ask and I'll get her.
Oh, that'll be wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages and all else in between, you've been here in Center Ring with the fabulous Kiarnna Weber.
Thank you so much.
The Circus Voices 2022 spring season is a co-production between Circus Talk and In Center Ring. Join Circus Talk today and find the talent or the job you've been looking for on the circus industry's international casting marketplace. We have a special offer for Circus Voices listeners. Receive 15% off your annual membership by using the code Circus Voices 2022. The circus is a vast international community, and there's only one place to connect for jobs, events, the latest news, and so much more. CircusTalk.com. Join today.